All right. Once again, we live doing it in 3D. So give it ID me, hitting and sticking like Popeye's chicken. Chaos963. How you be? I be all right. How you be? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So then, hopefully you read the heading. Knowing how we coming today, coming hard and heavy, like every day. Um, yeah, that's what we're doing. So, if you read the title of what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about the principle of rhythm. And, I know some of y'all know about it, some of y'all don't, but we're going to introduce you to it today, whether you know it or not. And the best way to do it probably is to give a little explanation as far as where it comes from. The concept comes from some sacred writings, the Kabbalah, written by Hermes Trismegistus. It's the credited writer, three times great. So they get something you might be a little more familiar with is the law of attraction, and that comes from there as well. And when they came out with that, people grabbed hold of it and ran with it and realized, it's real. It's power. There's powers and laws that are in place that we don't know about. And just because you don't know about it don't mean it don't exist. And that's kind of what's been happening for us as a people, B1s, all of our lives. A lot of stuff that we were about and did, particularly in the United States, coming over here and being here, but being stripped of all of our ancestries. And I said that purposely, coming over here and being here, because for the most part, most of us was here even before the ships came. One day I'll talk on that as well. But it just behooves you to, study, man, study. Pick up a book, go online. As I said, been saying, there's no more secret. That's what I spoke about yesterday. It's all out there, man. If you want to know, you can know. You can grab a book, you can go online, you can research different people. Man, they got books that have been exposing different literatures, and I say exposing because a lot of this stuff was trying to be hid from us as a people, because this knowledge was ours, and it's been it was taken and as I said, hidden and duplicated and flipped around, and pardon me, but I don't know what it is. I've been sitting under, can't drink me under these lights, man. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a thing on that water too I'll be drinking, because it ain't like everybody else's water. I got the special water, baby. Where my guy at? Here he is, y'all. Yes, sir. Ain't nothing like a good laugh. That's a meditation. That's a type of spiritual release. And just start laughing. They for a while that got popular. Just start laughing, and then your spirit will line up with that. Because bottom line is your mind can't really differentiate between fact and fiction. So whatever it's fed is what it believes. That's why you find people that are telling lies so long, they start to believe it. But anyway, this knowledge was ours. And when I say ours, I mean it was ancient ancestral knowledge that came down and from our folks. And when we got detached from our history, detached from our heritage, we got detached from that spirit, that knowledge, that energy after a while. And not so much at first, but here of late, man, these last, and I understand what I'm finna say, these last 10, 15, 20 years, the detachment has been just paramount, man. They got the Spindali working, and our folks is fall subject to the brainwashing, man. And one of the main things they do is they take our knowledge and say, well, no, that's taboo. You shouldn't mess with that. And then, of course, the secret societies and whatnot, that was all they did. You see it in the movies. You see it in the movies, and they're all garbed up with their robes on, woo, 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 and doing all the weird stuff they be doing. Well, the original purity part of those things was us, man. It was us. We had a special relationship to the ancestors, to the deities and whatnot, and called upon them and had relationships in ways that totally lost. So I digress to say again that it's ours. We can use it, and some of the stuff that has been seeped out slowly but surely is coming from the ancient sacred writings, ancient sacred books. And one of the books is the Kabbalah, and into that is the 7 laws, and one of the laws is the law of rhythm, or the principle of rhythm, which says everything flows out and in, everything has its tide, all things rise and fall. And so with that understanding, you can help guide, steer your life, because you know that, as it said, those things are factual, so you can depend on those things. Meaning that if everything flows, then you can look for things to flow. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. A lot of folks are speaking here lately of the fall of this system here that we're in, and that's factual. It's had its time. Now it's falling. And so into that, it's important, if you know that and understand it, to deal with it appropriately, deal with it accordingly. Know that it's going to fall and be ready for that falling away. So, having said that, I'm going to pour some libations. Again, Chaos963. My information down here on the bottom. You can Twitter, Facebook, instant messaging is Chaos963 A to Z, and then Chaos963.com is where you can reach and go online and support us through your giving there. On the online, there was even more than that. You can pick up different items, and you can also we have candles that we sell, and these candles are again come from the sacred understandings and whatnot, and into that we know that the power that they have is given to us to use, and I gave a little bit of explanation on that a few days back. That it's simply, if you have a deity or entity that you call upon, when the powers hear their name, they act. It's just like when folks, to use the biblical understanding, they talk about calling on Jesus, understand, if you just called out there to anything, then that's what you would get, anything. So you have to be specific, and there's powers, and I reckon it to when the story about Lazarus, when he called Lazarus to come forth, I think if you had to call Lazarus, just say, hey, everybody in there, come on out. So when you do that, understand that you have a relationship, you have a right, you have authority to tap into your ancestors, and they are waiting to move and act and strengthen and guide and enlighten and adjust and be there on your behalf. So I'm gonna call in on some of these ancestors right about through here, and let me get my book first. I've been meaning to really get these books together. But for now, I was down in Florida, and Florida's interesting in that the weather is, they don't have a bunch of seasons. I'm in Missouri now, and in Missouri they have seasons where I am particularly, and so it's kind of interesting to watch the changing of the colors of the leaves and the falling of the leaves. In, in Florida, it was just Florida, what is it? The palm trees at Christmas. They putting Christmas lights on palm trees and that kind of stuff. Just wasn't no. It's hot and hotter basically because it's probably 70s and 80s even down there now. So it's interesting having that thing happening again to watch the leaves change and fall. Simple thing. Okay, to my mother, Junior Murdo, Ashe. To my father, Idalis, Ashe. My stepfather, William, Ashe. To my grandfather, Sam Lenny, Ashe. To my grandmother, Daddy Lenny, Ashe. To my great grandmother, Ava Shani, Ashe. To Zarabanda, Ashe. To El Cristo Negro, Ashe. El Cristo Rey, Ashe. To Papa Legba, Ashe. To San Simeon, Ashe. To El Chimongo, Ashe. To Ochincha, Ashe. To Lavado, Ashe. Alquila, Ashe. Locoyo, Ashe. To the fairies, Ashe. To the imps and powers, Ashe. To the Muhammad Ali, Ashe. Whitney Houston, Ashe. To Michael Jackson, Ashe. To the powers known and unknown, Ashe. To the spirits and deities unknown and known, Ashe. To the ancestors known and unknown, Ashe. To the ancestors of the folks that will see this known and unknown, Ashe. 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 So then, keep the camera. Nice trick. Watch this. The principle of rhythm. And so everything flows. With that, you can know and have an understanding. You mentioned something about how the seasons, what they're changing, the ebb and tide of that. Basically, to know and understand that with things changing, man, there's always the knowing that whatever situation you might be in, it's gonna flux, it's gonna change, and say that in particularly now because someone was going through some of the oppression that has been going on for all these years. It's changing. We went into it, and they definitely peaked in the madness, and so now it's coming back away from that, and it can't be stopped. These are laws, spiritual laws. Instead to that, a lot of people try to bend the laws and whatnot, but these things are solid. Now, when you deal with certain beings, entities, and whatnot, there's an opportunity to take peace and solitude within those entities so that the brunt of certain things might not be as forceful. And that, I would like to be able to say that in a better way. But that's where knowing the powers comes into effect. When you see certain things coming your way, know it's coming your way, then you can implement the powers that can neutralize it, balance it all, reverse it, or what have you. Again, the advantage is to know that these things will be coming, will be happening. It'll be the ebb and flow, if you will, of these things. And so, in knowing that they are coming, you can make adjustments, and that's where the wind comes in. That's where the wind comes in. We make that adjustment and win. Yeah. I during my sabbatical, I had an opportunity to experience some of this firsthand way, and I say that to say that when even in the worldly things, you obviously have that, and it'd be interesting to watch the political system, if you will, how the laws would swing in and out. One minute it'd be extremely volatile towards crime, and they usually, kind of stay a lot in that area. but it'd be more so than others. You know, look at '84 and that crime bill that came out of that, man, has been affecting us for, 35, 40 years. And but it rocks back and forth. Then they'll get lenient on some things, and I learned, and we learned at that point to kind of pick and choose our fights, target and wait out. And as the pendulum will swing back, okay, now's a good time to maybe put this motion in or that motion in. It also happened a lot with the changing of the guard as far as politically. When a new governor would come in, it'd be different. When a new obviously president or something like that, real different. But when you get new judges in, even a lot of cats would really wait to see who the next judge would be coming in. In the Colorado system, they have it where they rotate every so many years, and so literally guys would be sitting up in there, and they would wait for the rotation, so they would see if they could perhaps get a better judge, or even to that they would try to petition, to get or motion to get a venue change or a different courtroom or what have you. And so again, we live under these laws and principles, and oftentimes, folks don't know, and because you don't know, it's hard to be able to take advantage. It's hard to understand, but when you do, it just changes everything. When out here with these farmers and whatnot, I watch the way that they deal with their livelihood. And they know that, at a certain time, this is going to happen, and that's just the laws of nature, if you will. And then at this time, this is going to happen, and they know the area and they know the laws that go with that. Well, it's incumbent upon us as a people to know that stuff. I see far too often where people try to literally go against these laws. And that's what's really happening a lot now. I see a lot of people trying to get ready to change some things that are just written in stone, man. This is a lot of this has been prophesied thousands of years ago. A lot of folks caught up, with the Bible and all. The Bibles, man, that's like the new kid on the block, man, compared to some of these other writings and whatnot. It's a new kid on the block. So if you're going from a bad script, or a script is not as pertinent, then you are going to be kind of in a bad position, because you're not going to have the best counsel to move with or move from. And so when we understand that, man, it changes everything. It changes everything. We have to know and understand that. You have to know and understand that. Prophecy can't be ignored. And a lot of folks is really trying to ignore the prophecy. And for me, that's just madness, I'm here looking for a few cats that are becoming enlightened, that are waking up, or having a desire, a thirst, a hunger after some knowledge, and so be it. As far as moving and changing and overcoming the system we're in now, and that for me, I'd be like, it don't say that. It says that if you read whatever you read, it talks about as this thing comes to an end, this thing is going to be kind of, this is over, man. They don't like this on, now we're going to go to the next move type thing. I know that's pretty strong for a lot of folk, but nonetheless. But into that, before that happens, there's going to be a shifting, a changing of the guards, and that's going to be a beautiful thing, because it's been so bad for so long. But it's not to get stuck on that, man. I look back, and when I first really started getting hungry and thirsty for this consciousness, man, for the knowledge of the ancestors, and just the knowledge of the truth from the past, I was reading about and getting an understanding of what it was like for us as black people, melanated folk, 5, 6, 10,000, 20,000 years ago. And it goes back there and then some. I was reading a thing the other day ago talking about the Sphinx. They dated it to be about 90,000 years old. And that even in and of itself is kind of misleading because, obviously we've been taught for so long that, they say our history, where did it start? Or we started slavery. Hold on, man. No, it's not a good place to start. Good for you, maybe, not for me. Our history didn't start as slavery. I saw a post the other day ago. It said about and during slavery, the people that were brought from Africa, you didn't bring slaves over here. You brought kings and queens and princesses and noble folk over. And that was kind of interesting because a lot of folk, that what they've taught is, they went over there and got a bone in the nose, wild, swinging in the tree type cats, and they rounded. Come on, man. They had great cities, the greatest city. They have over there what is yet to be duplicated. Yet to be. You go to the nicest and the greatest buildings and whatnot today. I'm talking about from America to Europe to Dubai just built this fantastic hotel. Man, that stuff can't touch what we was doing back in the day. And I say that to say that when you see the architect and the governing system and what they had in Egypt, when the time of the pyramids and whatnot, even that was the decline, man. It was going down from there. When we were at the greatest point, it was way before even that. So I say all that to say again, as I said, I'll say many times, a man who has one book has none. And so it's incumbent upon you to really study, man, and get a hold of some of these books and tear them up. The Kabbalah, you can get anywhere in different, man, all over, and it's solid studying it. And when you have it, all of a sudden everything starts to change, man. When you start having this knowledge and understanding and receiving the wisdom from the ages. For one, it starts to hit you on different levels. A lot of the stuff when we study, it's really hit, and you have to get some stuff. They talk about the chakras. There's different levels of the chakras. Well, a lot of the basic stuff that we get and deal with it on a low level, man, on a low frequency. And so into that, we've never even had the opportunity to really tap into the higher frequency stuff because we've never had nothing to stimulate that. But now we do. And when I say never, I mean within the last recently, man, it's really been coming out. But yeah, man, you got stuff now that'll make you vibrate and shake on a whole different level. And when you get it, you'll realize it, man, because you'll start tapping into it, and you're just like, whoa, and it ain't gonna be so much all the time exactly what you hear and read. It's gonna be the fact that energy coming from that is going to turn on things in you that have never been turned on before. I talk to folks, and they when we talk about Christianity per se, they say, well, Christianity, if it ain't it's not the only thing by no stretch of the imagination, and it's not the only thing. So I'll just say that because we'll go deep later, I'm sure, as time goes by. But folk ask me, said, well, when I first got saved, I felt this and that, and I said, when I first got saved too. Man, when I first got saved, man, there was stuff that lit and turned on in me that had never been lit or turned on before. And so I was at an area of confusion, man, because I was into Christianity for a long time. And I'm thinking, well, man, you're saying that it came from something else. And they, well, yeah. And then so they start showing me, oh, man, okay, I get it now. And then when they really show and get you an understanding, you realize that all the religions of the world come from the sacred writings coming up out of the motherland. But here's the point I make. I said, well, if that being the case, I don't understand why that when I first got turned on to it, man, I knew that there was a supernatural, spiritual awakening, an epiphany, if you will, that was happening to me. And I said, you or nobody else can't tell me that I didn't feel something, that I didn't know something was going on special when I turned to Christianity and accepted that for myself on that whole level. As I explained to you, I was raised in the church. I was raised in the church, but I never had what I had when I got quote unquote saved again. So I was saying, you need to explain that to me. Because when I was in the Lutheran church, it was the church I grew up in, dry as toast. Dry as toast. You know, they had all these Lutheran churches, they had all these white cats leading all these black cats, which I thought was weird to start with, but okay. But this cat would get up there and you could tell that he was detached. This was his gig. And most of these cats have been sent from like some other hierarchy. You know, they had this big structure hierarchy, and these dudes way up over here that didn't know who we was or what we was about. We was this little black community over here, and they were sending this cat over to lead us. I'm like, man, you know, and even as a kid, I knew that was weird. Because I would see my uncles and stuff like that. When they would interact with me, it would be on a whole different level, you know. You knew they had love and whatnot. And then this preacher dude, and he would come in, and you know he came from the archdiocese and blah blah blah. I'm like, yo, what? Cause I'm a kid now, you know. I'm talking about 6, 7, 8 years old, and I said, well, I hear all that, but what I do know, see, this dude ain't like my uncle in there, man. This dude ain't like my coach or nothing, you know. So right then, I'm like, oh, man, but okay, you know, because Mama said this is what we finna do. And she brought me a cool little suit. And I was like, yeah, man, shoot, I have a little suit on, you know. And we go out to church. And then at the church, you know, we done palmed our little tithe money. You know, put this in the pot. You put that in, you fake like you put it in. And you put that in your pocket. And then in between the Sunday school and the church, we run over to the candy store, you know, so Sunday was cool. Church was cool. I'm finna go there. I'm going to have to sit here a minute and try not to fall asleep because Mom would do the gorilla pinch on your side, you know, when you started falling asleep. And so I would just fall asleep, you know. And then after the Sunday school, I say into the church, but in between, man, I had this change, and we'd go over there and get the candy, come back. So that was the experience. But about having an experience, a spiritual awakening or a touch, nah, man, none of that. And I could tell that this dude that was leading us, man, he didn't give a dang, man. This cat, I'm here because they tell me to be over here. This is my assignment. Okay, homie. Well, you come over here and get a sign, and when you through being a sign, you know, you shake the spot. But you knew that. You knew that. So when I got older, man, and had my own personal experience, I mean, lightning and bolts and stuff, man. I got saved. I got challenged to a thing. Pardon me. My cousin, man, they had this little revival like trip, man, right? And so they had that going on, and he said, I challenge you to go over here. I'm like, what do you challenge me? You know, because he knew I was a scrapper from the street, you know, but don't dare me, man. And then he put down a double dare. Oh, well, let's a double dare? Okay, let's go. So we went over there, you know, and they went through first of all, the singing and all was different, you know, and I said, okay, well, that's kind of cool. I can work with that. And then the folk came out and they was getting it, and that's kind of cool. You know, it had some people that was young, you know, talking, because all the other cats, when they mostly had services over at the other place, man, these dudes, like, you know, they had to come out and they had like dudes standing next to them ready to do CPR, you know, like this dude is old, man, what the heck, you know? And so there were some young cats, you know, and I thought, okay, well, that's cool. I can work with that. And then what is you doing? Hold on, man, what is you doing? Then, I don't know what's happening with this, but I'm not finna trip with you, pal. So they would have, okay, woo, sorry. Um, so they had these young folks come out, man, and they was, serving it up. And now this was at a big old white church out south, right? And so, I mean, nice, I like, man, okay. And it was in one of their smaller chapels. So their small chapel was as big as our regular chapel. And I was like, okay. So we go up in there, and like I said, they did the thing what they did. And then they had this female come out. She was a prophetess, So this is like totally blowing me away. You got young people, you got women out, because we come up out of that old thing where they, old white cat. That was it. And so got to speaking and all, and she invited folk to come down, and somebody pushed me up out that bench and shuffled me out into the aisle, and I'm like looking around. This is seriously the feeling I felt. I'm like looking around to see who is pushing me, because I'm like getting this motivation coming from somewhere I never experienced before. And before I know it, like I'm up to the front, and I'm like, what? How did I get? And I'm up there. I mean, it was just surreal, Long story short, they pray on me, blah, blah, blah. When they get through praying, I felt it. She's holding and praying and all like that. Well, when I come up out of it, everybody's gone. It's about 4 people there, and my cousin and a couple other folks. And I'm like, well, how long I've been right here? Oh, you've been here a minute. It was like 40 minutes, I'm like, oh, okay. I never felt no juice like that. But it wasn't no question. I knew that was real. That was real. So when Caps was coming to me talking about, well, that's the Christianity and this, that, and the other. 'Cause, I mean, years I rode with Christianity. People that could take it. I mean, I got baptized, ordained as a minister, the whole trip. And they could tell you, man, because when I was on my sabbatical, we would go in and we would have interaction with the Muslim brothers, and I would be studied up, man, and we'd be going at it. And it got to the point where what they were saying was kind of making sense, but, they was coming out of the Quran, and I'm coming out of this. So then this one dude came one time and said, man, I can tell you out of your own Bible. So we're going through this, that, and the other. So it gets kind of heated, because what's interesting, when you start talking about folks' religion and political stuff, boy, folk getting their feelings. So, I kind of was in mine. He was kind of in his. So we just kind of agreed to disagree. But, man, that left some residue up in mine. So when I finally had came and start realizing that my experience needed more, I had gotten what I got, but it was lacking. And what was lacking, let me explain to you. Like I told you, I went deep and was studying. I had all the different books, and I don't care how I studied. It never added up. It never added up. And I would look at it, and then when it wouldn't add up, they said, well, you know what? You just have to have faith. Okay, man, whatever. Go on with that, man. Listen, all them people, dirty demon people over there, all theirs is adding up, man. It was adding up for them. They do their dirt, they get paid, they move on in, they would seem to be happy and part. I'm like, so at this point, I need mine to add up. I needed to make sense. So I'm going on and going through, and I'm still just struggling and working out, and I'm reading, and I'm honing up my argument, man, to a sharp edge. But at one point, it just don't make sense. Like the Easter thing and the rise and fun. I'm like, man, that don't even make sense, man. You know what? And I'm looking at stuff, and I said, and I don't try to let it make sense, and it ain't working. Okay, so y'all can kind of hold on with that. So when I started coming into some serious consciousness, I started asking, why was it then that when I was experiencing what I was experiencing in Christianity, that it did feel so real, that I did have so much enlightenment, so much energy, and so much joy? And the dude told me, so Simeon, that spirit is real. He said, and it was hitting you at a lower level. So when you hit at that lower level, you was feeling that. When them people be shouting up in church, they feeling that. And it's real for them. It's a real thing. But it's not the thing by no stretch of the imagination. I said, well, what do you mean? So then I started studying, man, and getting a hold of books, and they explained how they had lined up Christianity, man, with the spiritual books and this, that, and the other. And I said, man. So yeah, but particularly melanated folks, we got the spirit. So anytime we would really get close to something that even resembled it coming from such dry places, yeah, we would feel that. So then when I started dealing with conscious knowledge and that understanding, man, you talk about lit up. When I started understanding that my chakra system could be opened up, and as it was opened up, it would start to clean out, and I could deal with certain things, actually deal with stuff that would increase my power, increase my knowledge, and I could read these different things that would bring me to an understanding that made sense. Stuff that didn't say, okay, well, now you just got to believe that. Yeah, man, no, you ain't got to disbelieve. Look, man, either this is real or it ain't, man. And if it's real, it got to line up. It got to line up, man. Or we dealing with some real nut stuff here, man. And that was another one of the problems. We got this guy over here that loves us and he would do anything for us. But if we don't do this, he's going to bash us up and send us into hellfire. So I'm looking at it like how I look at things. I'm not trying to do nothing that dastardly to nobody where they would just burn in eternity. What's up with that link, So if I start learning and understanding, man, yeah, you got spirit. You got spirit. Spirit can be touched. But like anything, for it to be its best, then you have to do what's best for it. And I know and understand as much as I can know and understand what's best for it. And you can know a lot. And you can continue to learn. That's another beautiful thing. You pick up these books and the knowledge is so superior to where it's endless. You could be learning from now on, and then what you would learn would be so impacting to it would change your life and shape you. And every time you read it, it would change you more. And as you read it, it would say A, B, and C, and A, B, and C would be A, B, and C. And I thought, wow, that's cool. That's cool. So anyway, I wanted to try to crack the ice a little bit on some sacred studies and give you that Kabbalah. You might want to look into that. See if I can pick one up. Go to Amazon, go online. It's all right there. Ain't none of this stuff. Ain't no hidden secrets, man. It's all out there. For one, they don't think a cat's going to look at it. They don't believe you're going to look at it. And I'm talking about the secret laws, the spiritual laws that will literally change your position overnight. Change how you think, feel, believe. And you'll have a victory, victory, victory. So then, Chaos963, doing it to you in 3D. I'm going to let you go. Yeah, as I say, plant you now and dig you a little later. Make it a great day.